Everybody, my name is Alejandro Santiago, and I am here today to talk to you about climate change. Climate change. What is the first thing that comes to your head when you're talking about climate change? Well, many things, because climate change is one big subject linked to many factors. It's like a giant tree, if you will. Therefore, climate change ranges from ice ages to sea levels to severe weather, energy consumption when it's going to fossil fuels, and of course the ozone layer, and lastly, solar activity. The reason why I involve solar activity into climate change because the sun is what drives the climate on Earth, and whatever's going on with the sun affects what goes on down here on Earth. So, for example, I think this past year, 2013, was the closing of the solar output to a solar minimum. Yet, the whole polar vortex thing was going on, and the whole, we're due for an ice age anytime soon in 2015. Many theories. However, it didn't happen. Also, when it comes to severe weather, we all know about the Midwest tornado outbreak that happened in Oklahoma. All the unfortunate victims of several tornadoes within the last year that's just made everything plateaued all over the Midwest. Then hurricanes. Why did I bring up hurricanes? Well, if you notice, down here in South Florida, we haven't had a hurricane since Wilma. That's 2005. It's been 10 years. It's a long time. Why the drought? Well, could be several reasons. One could be the high pressure over the Atlantic. It may have shifted towards the northeast, and that's why, if you noticed, for those who live here may understand, when hurricanes go above the island of Puerto Rico, they make that sharp northeast turn, and they tend to hit the Carolinas or the Northeast, or they just do that sharp J turn towards Bermuda, and it just goes into the hurricane graveyard. That could be it, or we just haven't had a hurricane in a long time, and then this whole thing with El Nino going on in the Pacific, driving all the moisture and the hot temperatures, and that happens every several years. And then we take it to the Arctic. I don't know if you heard, but the ice has melted so much that it's becoming a shipping yard now. Ships are actually finally going through the Arctic Circle to ship cargo through there, and before it was all ice. And it's good for trading and such as. However, all the marine life in Arctic is being extinguished day by day, and this just goes both ways. Also, when it comes to sea level, down here we are supposed to be underwater in half a century, theoretically. And then in some places you see the sea level is lower, some places it's higher. It can be different, but Florida is actually naturally below sea level, the southern peninsula. Then I recently visited Italy, and I visited Venice. Venice was beautiful. It was special. However, it is going underwater. It's due to be underwater within several years from now, and it's all part of the whole cycle. So things come up, must come back down. In certain cases. So it's like, soon you know it, it'll be a complete different landmass. Also, ocean currents. Something that's not really spoken much about, but I don't know if any of you have seen The Day After Tomorrow. They were explaining in the beginning of the film how global warming and an ice age is well connected. Global warming can cause a pollution trend. So what happens is that when the ice shelves dump all the fresh water into the North Atlantic Current, if that current will be disrupted and the warm climate disappears, because the North Atlantic Current is what carries the heat from the ocean, from the equator to the north, and that's how it carries heat. And if that gets disrupted, that's when an ice age happens. Also in the Gulf Stream, that's getting disrupted. All the marine life gets vanished, is polluted. There's many fragile natural cycles on this planet that we are not aware of, or we just don't care. We just want to make sure we're well taken care of. Well, however, also, energy. This whole thing with ethanol. Ethanol nowadays, in the United States, is produced from corn. Corn is not really a good feedstock when it comes to producing ethanol. So the energy we're getting from ethanol is about the same as we have with gasoline. Yes, it may be a little cleaner, but the energy intake is about the same. So we're not really gaining anything. But if you go to Brazil, where the whole ethanol thing started, you're doing it off sugarcane. Sugarcane is more efficient. It is just so it's green as you think that Brazil is living off ethanol straight out from sugarcane, and we're here in the corn not getting the same. And therefore, last but not least, the ice shelf. Around, I'd say 10 years ago, around 2004, 11 years, um, a huge chunk of ice broke off, and it was the Larsen B ice shelf. And the reason why this was a huge deal, because it was a pivot point that we are heading towards a kind of climate that we're not gonna be like assume like used to. And that opened our eyes wider, because that ice shelf, Larsen B, was the size of the state of, I would say, Rhode Island. And ever since then, many scientists have been skeptic of how climate change is going to turn out. Is it going to get hotter? Is it going to get colder? Is it going to get anyway? However, the only thing we know right now that yes, we are driving it faster. We're driving it faster. We're pressing the pedal all the way to the metal, and it's unbearable. It's gonna get unbearable. And as such as reality sounds, that's how the world works. We're living on fossil fuels, coal mainly, especially in developing countries, and population. As the population is increasingly exponentially so fast, it's just it's something that we just gotta be aware of. And I say we're not. And at one point, we will realize it, and it will be at a time that we cannot reverse it. So, how can we help on slowing it down at least? Let's see. Many small changes. If we can't figure out any alternative energies any soon, but we are. Um, I would say let's drive fewer miles, try to use more public transportation, carpool. In the house, you could save electricity on switching to CFL light bulbs. There's LEDs nowadays. It's almost everywhere, which is a huge turning point in the way we use energy nowadays. Um, Also, it could be towards, let's see, um, yeah, it's just several things. There's many things. But there's so many little things that we can do. And it's just climate change is something that I hope and we all look on closer, be more aware of what's going on around us. And it's just don't ever let your guard down. And I hope you all feel informed of what's happening around us. So that's climate change for you.